Hello and welcome to a review of Dead Island 2, the long-awaited sequel to Dead Island that was released in September 2011. That's right, it's been almost 12 years since the first one was released, and let's go through it and see if it's worth playing, shall we? So immediately after you start the game, you'll be asked to create a character. Now each character has a different story, different skill, and different attributes. Some of the skill do overlaps, so I guess it's really up to your playstyle here. After you select your character, you will be put into a plane where it will crash. This is your prologue, and then after you finish the prologue, you'll be set in a town, and that's where you start the storyline and explore. It's a pretty linear storyline, meaning where you will be pretty much put into a straight path with things that you need to do in order to progress the story. Each section of the map will have open world or semi-open world. In this case, you can explore or you can simply ignore and just follow the storyline. Now, most of the storyline and the side quest for the game will be pretty much optional. You can do them for additional skill, curveballs, or blueprints and weapons, but most of them, you don't have to, and you can just go ahead and progress with the story as is and ignore the rest. Now, if you ignore everything and just progress with the story, it's going to be pretty short. It was advertised for around 15 hours, but I think you can probably finish it in about maybe 9 or 10 at most. You can probably do it faster than that if you skip all the cutscenes. So the game offers two play style. You can either use the controller. There are presets made for Xbox, PS4, PS5, gameplay. Of course, since it's a PC game, you can also play it with a keyboard and mouse. The open world is relatively linear, like I mentioned earlier, but there are fast travel once you get to the later part of the story. You can travel back to pretty much all of your previous location that you've been at. And when it comes to the monsters or the zombies, there are several types of zombies in this game, and they are introduced by simply progressing in the story. There are something called spitter, grenadier, tank, and there are ones where they spit out electric and fire. So there's all types, and you actually need to use different weapons to kill them, because some of them are immune to, say, stabbing or piercing weapons. So you would have to slash them with a sword or shoot them from afar with a gun. This game is, to me, it feels like very co-op oriented, because I was playing with my friend the entire time, and a lot of these bosses are hard to face directly, and usually he would just tank or get the monster's attention, and I would just go at it from behind. If you ever die while you're playing, the only penalty I notice is that you lose a bunch of your resources, which you can always pick up and loot back from just traveling the world map. And you can also find weapon upgrades, drops from the world map. There's a bunch of weapon type. There's knives, guns, claymore type sword. There are also different type of guns, machine guns, rifle, hunting rifle. There's a new implementation this time around in Dead Island 2, and that's something called Curveball. Curveball is free. You don't have to craft the weapon, or you don't have to craft the ammunition, unlike guns. It is on a timer, so each time you throw it, it will be on a recast until it's ready. There are skills you can use or equip that will help with reducing the recast time of the curveball, but most of the time they're free and they do area damage. And there are different types. You start out with just a meatball, where it just basically attracts the zombies. Later you get grenades, pipe bombs that stick to the zombies, and they are pretty useful in reducing the zombie when they come in waves. So another thing I noticed that's different from the previous game is that the guns this time are a much bigger deal. In Dead Island 1, most of the play you don't even need to use a gun. Guns are introduced much later into the game and they are harder to use. The mechanic is hard to use and they are pretty much not useful even if you are using the character with guns bonuses. In this game, there are mobs that will fling flame balls at you. Those are the mobs that you're gonna have to take care of with guns. Unfortunately, ammunition is not free. You can pick them up, and mobs, regular zombie that you kill, do have a chance of dropping ammos for you, so you may not have to craft them, but you can easily craft them after you pick up the blueprints. Another feature of the game are skill cards. As you progress with the story, you unlock new skills, and some of those skills will be important for you. Some of them has area control, some of them are very one-on-one oriented, and as you progress more into the storyline you unlock more skill, and there is a feature called Fury. It is a different gauge that will charge up as you use your skill, dodge your enemies, and other action do recharge it. You can even equip skill that would recharge it faster. Basically it's a skill where you go into a Fury mode and pretty much gain a damage boost and can pretty much take out anything you want. While you're in this mode, there are different skills you can use. You start out with like a scream that reduces their damage or defense, and later you get some more. You get like a big stomp to the ground. They do different things. It's just basically up to your preference at that point. Another feature of the game that I kind of like this time around is the traps. When you're traveling the world map or anywhere during your mission or just exploring, you'll see rooms with traps. You'll have to either disarm them or trigger them from afar. Otherwise, you will get hurt. I died several times from the traps and I thought it was hilarious. Another physics-related feature of the game is how you can interact with different items in the world map. What I'm talking about is like an electric cable will electrocute water if you can get a water can there. And the last weird feature that I found in the game is that you can integrate this game with Alexa. If you have a microphone, you can do command like set a waypoint or something like that. You do have to sign into your Amazon account and allow the game to integrate with your Alexa. I did try it out. I don't remember any of the commands, so I basically just do everything manual. Now, when we are talking about graphics, this game is pretty much built for AMD graphics. So you see features that are only for AMD, and however, I did play this game with NVIDIA graphic card, and I see no issues with it whatsoever, no stuttering or anything like that. Keep in mind, I am playing this game with everything maxed out, and I didn't see any stuttering with OBS running. This game is pretty much very optimized, and I think you can pretty much play it on AMD or NVIDIA. One last feature that I think will be very useful for anybody who would like to play this game in stream is that it does have an option to turn off any background or any copyrighted music so that you can stream without worries that you will be any DCMA strikes to your account. This game has several editions just like most AAA games. Edition that I bought was Go Edition, which came with the Pope Weapon Pack, the Golden Weapon Pack, Character Pack, and Expansion Pass. So the 2 weapon pack you will be able to get as you progress in the game. They'll be available within the vendor shopping or the merchant. You'll be able to buy them for $0. That's how you eventually get them all. As for the character pack, I think you get a few costumes or cosplay, as the game call it. You can change your cosplay at the starting screen or when you are next to a storage point. You can go in the storage menu and change your cosplay there. There's also the deluxe edition, which is $64.99. It only has the golden weapon and the character pack. As for the base, edition, you are buying the game for pretty much just the game, and it's $59.99. The expansion pass alone is $29.99, so I think the best deal for this game, provided that the expansion pass will be fulfilled somehow by the developer, is to go for the gold edition. $79.99, you get all the other bonuses plus the expansion pass, which alone is $30. So I'm hoping the dev will continue to add content, or at least DLC to it, so that I can make good use of the expansion pass. So I guess coming to a conclusion, if you want to know if this game is pretty much worth its value, I would say yes, it is definitely worth it, especially if you like the first Dead Island. It added a lot of new features to the game, and I believe it was very enjoyable for the time that I am playing it. It's a much better experience if you have a friend to play with, or you can just play open world and join random strangers on their journey. And with all the side quests, expansion, ultimate weapons, or legendary weapons in this case, that you can get after you finish the storyline, it does warrant a replay to go over all the secrets and anything that you may have missed the first round. I will give this a thumbs up, and thanks for listening, and I'll see you around.